The state of New York has announced it's suing the National Rifle Association, accusing the powerful gun lobby group of wide-ranging fraud and corruption. The New York Attorney General says she's also looking to dissolve the non-profit organisation, alleging senior leaders have diverted up to $64 million for personal use and to buy members' support.
They overrode and they evaded internal controls to allow themselves, their families, and favored board members, employees, and vendors to benefit through reimbursed expenses, related party transactions, excess compensation, side deals, and waste of charitable assets without regard to the NRA's best interest.
Well, for more on this, let's speak to Jeffrey Tucker. He's the editorial director at the American Institute for Economic Research, and he joins us now from Great Barrington in Massachusetts. Great to have you back with us, Jeffrey. Extraordinary development here. New York Attorney General Letitia James has called the NRA a breeding ground for greed, abuse, and blatant illegality. Tell us more about what's being alleged here.
Well, you heard her own announcement there. It's all pretty vague. It seems like it's a very wealthy organization, and the people at the top seem to be living quite well. That seems to be all it really amounts to. It's impossible not to consider the very strong likelihood that there's a political motive here, and it's quite a shocking attack. The NRA is a 501c4, and there are no, compensation limits. And also, by the way, there's a tremendous controversy within the National Rifle Association for years about its leadership, and the thing is being torn apart anyway through internalizing conflict within the organization. Has been going on for years, but probably this should be managed by its board and its donors, and not involve the government just going in and shutting down an organization because they don't like it.
Yes, but
there's a little bit of
sorry
a
to
backdrop
interrupt
here. Yeah,
Jeffrey, but if the board or its members haven't acted on these allegations, which, as you say, have been around for some years now, shouldn't prosecutors step in?
Well, I wouldn't say so, because there's a lot of nonprofit organizations like this one that are rife with these kind of internal problems, and it seems to me this is just really a very aggressive attempt to shut down an organization that everybody's blaming for the fact, and this is part of the backdrop here. I mean, over the last 5 months, there are tens of thousands of Americans who have become first-time gun owners because of all the civil strife and difficulty in this country. I know this for a fact. I mean, the gun sales are going through the roof, and it looks to me like what might be happening here is that you have people that are alarmed by this scapegoating the NRA. But the NRA is not forcing anybody to buy a gun. That's just part of the way the markets are working in this country. We have wider spread gun ownership here than we've ever had, by far. So this is, I think, part of the backdrop here. This is why I say it's political, it's social, it's cultural, and this is very aggressive. And by the way, from what I understand from this complaint, it looks actually quite serious. And if they can do this to the NRA, they could probably do it to any nonprofit organization in the country.
Okay, and just to address those concerns about politics, so Letitia James, the Attorney General, who is a Democrat, she rejected this idea that this is politically motivated, saying that they followed the facts and the law. Presumably, we're going to see in greater detail exactly what's alleged against the NRA's top 4 leaders. Do you believe her when she says that this isn't about politics, that it isn't politically motivated?
No, I don't believe that. I do believe that there's been exorbitant amounts of spending. The organization is very, very wealthy, and they have, people at the top live very well. As I say, a lot of the members have been upset about this for years, and I think the thing is being handled internally just fine. I'm not sure she's going to be able to discover anything that is already not publicly known. The reason why people continue to support the NRA is because they see their Second Amendment rights in the United States. We have a Second Amendment that guarantees the right of people to be armed, and they see the NRA as effective at that part of their mission, despite all the muddy stuff and difficulties and splits in the organization. It just seems to me that this is the kind of thing that needs to be handled internally, and with its donor population, I don't see anybody as being essentially defrauded in a way that require government intervention. So this is really an unprecedented attack. Yeah.
Okay, let's see how this all unfolds. Jeffrey Tucker, thank you again for joining us on the program.